After COVID-19 arise, where were you when COVID-19 lockdown arrived? I know where I was. I am Dr. I. Fortune, a dentist of over 28 years experience. I remember vividly our leaders told dentists to stop working immediately. I lost everything. I mean, my only source of income. It had an impact because sadly, lives were lost. Now, the valuable lesson learned was that it is not good to have only one source of income. Now, I know why entrepreneurs have multiple streams of income. Today, I'm going to share with you my personal story of what happened to me, what skills I learned, how I developed, how I became multifaceted, and how I became a compassionate leader as a result of all my lived experiences. When COVID-19 lockdown came and our leaders said that we should all stop working immediately, we went through emotions. It was a very difficult time. The first emotion was shock and disbelief. Is this really happening? We cannot believe it. All we have ever known is to go to work in the morning, see our patients, give advice, and treat them. This is all we have ever known. And it's also had a financial impact. Sadly, bills started to mount. Credit cards became our savior. It was around that time that some banks decided to give payment holidays for mortgage payers, and that was a relief. Then there was anxiety and uncertainty. When is all this coming to an end? What is going on? When are we going to go back seeing patients? And you and I know this virus was invisible, but very harmful. You know, the mouth is like the window to the body. When people open their mouth, they may transfer the virus to you, or vice versa, even though we were wearing masks. Even when we went back to work, things were never the same. Our worlds have been crushed. We had to follow guidelines. You have to wear a mask, a special mask. You have to be measured for that mask and even given a certificate. You have to wear a full body protection called a PPE, personal protective equipment. When you have to see a patient, you have to take their temperature. If the temperature is too high, you tell them to rebook. Even if you decide to carry out a simple clean and polish, after disinfecting and cleaning the surgery, you need to wait at least an hour for things to settle before getting the next patient in. There was frustration. It was a very difficult time that we could not see our patients, we could not advise them, we could not have that physical contact with them and get them out of pain. And then there was isolation, isolating from everyone, not being able to have that human contact. And I remember the children playing video games and this particular music comes on. Even now, when I hear that music, it brings back memories of that very difficult time of the lockdown. And then I realized, lessons learned, that it is important to rest, reset, and recover. I'm sure you've all come across someone called Maria in the workplace, who all they do is work, 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 work. Even when they are on holidays, they are still working. You only have one life, live it. Because if you are off sick, your job will be advertised and someone else will take your job. But your health will never return to where it was. So it's very important to rest, reset, and recover. The lesson I learned at this time that it was important to rest and reset and recover. I'm sure you've come across Maria in your workplace. You ask Maria. Maria is always smiling. Maria, how are you? I'm fine. But you and I know she's not fine. She may be working in an unsupportive environment. She may be in an environment where she's not appreciated, she's not celebrated, she's not valued. She's working in an environment where in spite of numerous appraisals, she was never promoted. But I've got a toolkit for people like Maria. The toolkit is the ABC toolkit. A stands for taking action and being accountable for yourself. B, being bold to have a balance. Knowing the difference between a negative work balance and a positive work-life balance. C, having the courage and commitment to see it through. It was around that time that I started reflecting on my lived experiences and what I've been through, the difficult time. And I asked myself, life is like a football field. There are times, metaphorically, I believe life is like a football field. There are times you score goals and at times you lose. And I must admit, this time I lost the match. But did I let it defeat me? No, I decided to rise. And when I decided to rise, it became a journey of self-discovery, and healing. So what did I do? It was around that time, a lady introduced me to a gentleman who was running a book writing course. And it was at that time that I became a 3-time author. As a result of that book writing course, I became a 3-time book author. And after that, the lessons learned from that time was that if there's anything for you to take out of this talk today, is that number 1, upskill. 2, have multiple streams of income. 3, share your story. You have a story in you, and you need to share it with the world to help one another and to inspire the next generation. My philosophy of life is to make a difference, which becomes a ripple effect to inspire the next generation. So what did I do? I decided to learn some skills, and that is what has shaped me. If at first I was wondering what was I doing with my life, I now realize that I've learned all those skills and they've made me to become more compassionate and more multifaceted and more resourceful. So what skills did I learn? I learned how to present, and I did a presentation on Zoom. Zoom became our savior, and the title was Leadership Skills, How to Prevent Burnout in Staff Leading to High Sickness Absence. And then I also learned how to research with data scientists. Our team won the first prize. The title for the research was Artificial Intelligence versus Corona Hackathon. And what we learned was that if you do a simple blood test and the monocytes high, it means you probably may end up with COVID. As a result of taking part in research, I became very fascinated by technology. The future is technology. So I decided to train in digital business analyst. And I learned new words like scope diagram and RACI, where R stands for who is responsible, A stands for who is accountable, and C stands for who should be consulted, and I stands for who should be informed. I also trained to become a teacher, so I'm a pedagogue. The next thing I would like to share is very important, that we should have multiple streams of income. So what lesson did I learn, or what did I train for? I trained how to write your own script, how to video, how to edit and upload it. I also learned how to co-organize a conference with a management institute on burnout. It's very important we all share our story. You have a story, you have a voice. Share it to help the next generation. Share it to help somebody. If life knocks you down, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay down or are you going to rise? I chose to rise. And I'm going to share a poem. This poem summarizes all my lived experiences. We will remember. We will remember. We will remember. One dark night, the virus arrived and pierced through the darkest of nights. There was lockdown, key workers to keep us going, rainbow in windows to give us hope, clapping and trapping of hands as we appreciate staff who are the heartbeat of the service. Then there was hope. The vaccine arrived. We go out to breathe in the fresh air, wearing masks and social distancing. What a year 2020 was. We are stronger. we are kind, we are loving, we will remember. One day we will meet again. If there's anything to take from this talk, please upskill, multiple streams of income, share your story. You have a story. What is your lockdown story?